Welcome to my classroom. In this video, we are going to talk about the concept of the vertex of a quadratic function. So let us write down our concept. That is the vertex of I'm sorry. All right. So the vertex of the quadratic function. All right, before I move on with giving you the formula for the vertex of a quadratic function, I want to go over the old points, a little review before we begin that, just so it can make more sense. So let us have two graphs going here. So in my last video on quadratics, I talked about when your equation is basically your equation is of the form ax squared. This is your quadratic function ax squared plus bx plus c, where it's a function of x, where your a, b, and c are numbers. Now we did talk about that how the graph is going to be up, or the shape of a cup, depending on the value of a. So cup up, it depends on a. When will this be a cup? When a is more than 0. Now we also talked about down, frown. So when at times when you're in frown or feeling a little down, your graph is going to be also down here in the same way. And how is it going to depend on a? A will be less than 0. So I did talk about it in my last video, but I just thought before I begin the vertex, we can again talk about this. Now, as we look at our down, frown, up cup, students, you can see that the parabola of the graph, whenever a is more than 0, the vertex of the graph, the minimum, the point where it changes direction is going to be the minimum point, because it has reached its minimum value and then it's moving on to the higher value. Now, when the graph is going down, it's going to actually attain a maximum value. So the vertex is nothing but the maximum when it attains a higher value, and that's what basically our concept will be. All right, so let me clear this off. You can pause the video and review these notes if you want to. And we will go back to our vertex formula. So just so you know that whenever we have a graph of a quadratic function, we may have something like this. Let us say this. So over here, you can see that this could be the vertex of this graph. Now, when this is the vertex, it is important to understand that the vertex point is actually x and y. It is 2 points, coordinate points, where x is always first and y is second. So we will begin with the first formula in order to calculate the vertex. The x value of the vertex for any equation ax squared plus bx plus c is given as, the vertex will be given as negative b over 2a. So that means in order to calculate the vertex, your value will be negative b divided by 2a. That will be your x value of the vertex. Now let us take an example right here where we can actually calculate the vertex in front of you. F of x equals 2x squared plus 4x plus 5. And we will now list a equals 2, b equals 4, and c equals 5. Now, in order to calculate the vertex, we will be using this formula, negative b over 2a. Now, let us see what my b is over here. The value of b is 4. So, it's going to be negative 4 because this negative sign is the part of the formula. Over 2 times a. What is a? 2. So this will be negative 4 over 2 times 2, which is 4. When I simplify this fraction, I get a negative 1. So that means the x value of the vertex is going to be negative 1. Now I'm still not completely done, reason being that I have found the x value where the graph is turning, but I have not found the y value for the graph making a turn. So in order to find the y value, students, what we do is we plug that number in, the x value, into our original function. What was our original function? Right here I'm highlighting it. So we will calculate or evaluate this function for negative 1, because that is what we are calculating the y for. So negative 1 in place of x, my new x is negative 1, plus 4 times negative 1 plus 5. So negative 1 whole squared, PEMDAS, I do the parentheses first. Negative 1 whole squared means negative 1 times negative 1. Negative times negative, positive. So the answer is plus 1. 2 times 1. Positive times negative is negative. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 5. Now 2 times 1 is 2 minus 4 plus 5. I would suggest you always do the first two parts and then the next two. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. I'm just doing these two for now. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. So when I finish this right here, students, you can see that I got 2 points. And you have to do all this work for vertex because your vertex is not 1 point but 2 points. Now first you find x, this formula gives you x, and then you find the y. So your actual full vertex answer will look something like this, and it's going to be negative 1 and 3. So that means for this given graph, the graph is making a turn at negative 1 and 3. So I hope that makes some sense. Let us do another example. You can pause the video and copy the notes that you are missing. And here we have a clear page now. So let us start another example, the second one. And we'll just go ahead and practice this together. 4x squared plus 8x, another question, plus 3 is our function, quadratic function. Now we have to find the vertex again, both the points. Remember, vertex is the point where the graph is making a turn. So basically we are trying to find, this is A is positive, so it's going to be an up graph. So the turn is going to be basically the minimum of the graph. And for that turn, we need two values, x and y. And that's what we are calculating. Like we always do, A is 4. We try to list out our numbers, that's easier. B is 8 and C is 3. So here what we do is we will start with the vertex formula. Remember, vertex formula gives you negative b over 2a is your value to calculate the x. So let us calculate that, negative b. B is already positive, so let me take a negative 8 over 2 times a. 2 times 4, because a is 4. Now negative 8 over 4 times 2, 8. This one also we got a negative 1 for x for our vertex. Now we need to find the y value of the vertex. Remember, your vertex are 2 points. Let us start listing them here. We don't know what our y value is. So how do we calculate y? We actually evaluate our original function that I'm highlighting here for you for the value negative 1. So in place of x, I will plug in negative 1. So my function is 4x squared. So it becomes 4 negative 1 squared plus 8 times negative 1 plus 3. So as you can see in my original function, I'm just plugging in the value in place of x. So PEMDAS, I have to do parentheses again. Negative 1 whole squared is 1. Minus 8, why? Because plus times negative negative, plus 3. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 minus 8 plus 3. Always remember, I'll try to do the first two pieces first to make it easy for me. 4 minus 8 is negative 4 plus 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Now I got my two answers. That tells me that my graph is going to be changing direction at these 2 points. So negative 1 for this given graph is where my graph is actually changing the direction. That's going to be the vertex of the graph. So hopefully I made some sense. Remember, students, this formula is very important for you to remember. So once you know this formula, you can be given any quadratic function and you can calculate the vertex. So I hope this was a learning experience for you. And if you find a mistake, please do let me know and I can fix it right away or make another video with the fixed mistake and I guess give you a candy for finding my mistake. So I hope you had fun learning math and thank you for watching, taking your time to watch and like, share, subscribe. I will see you in my next video. Have a great one. Bye.